11, 12, and 13, you can look at the instructions and you can look at these figures and say, hey, this is SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA is for right triangles and it's what we use to find side length or angle. However, what we're going to do in these is use a shortcut. We're going to use our 45, 45, 90 shortcuts, or in these cases, we're going to use our 30, 60, 90 shortcuts. So, just to review what that is, if you have a right triangle, and not only is it any old right triangle, but it has what are called equal interior angles, 45 and 45. What you know is there's going to be a pattern for the two equal side lengths and then also that hypotenuse. Whatever these values are, this value for the hypotenuse is going to be the same thing, but times the square root of 2. So if this is 20, this is 20 times square root of 2. If these are 13, this is 13 times the square root of 2. That's a shortcut that we can use. SOHCAHTOA will work, but I am expecting you guys to know and recognize the shortcuts for a problem like this. So if you multiply to get the hypotenuse, then to work backwards, you divide. So whatever this value is, we divide by square root of 2 to work backwards to get y and x. So y is just 4 divided by the square root of 2. If that's all you write down, that's fine. I would like to see you simplify this expression. It's considered unsimplified if you have a root symbol in the denominator. So to simplify, we want to get rid of that root. There's a few ways to do it. One thing I actually like to do is rewrite 4 as the square root of something. So 4 is the square root of 16. So instead of 4 over square root of 2, we can say this is 16 divided by square root of 2. And then if you have the division of roots, you can actually divide out the interior numbers, figure out what 16 over 2 is. So this is square root of 8. Now actually square root of 8 can be simplified a little bit farther. Square root of 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So we have one pair of factors to simplify, and so 2 square root of 2 would be the most simplified way of writing that answer. There's another way to simplify this besides using square root 16. The other thing you can do is what's called rationalizing the denominator, where you can keep a number equal by multiplying the top and the bottom by the same amount. And what you always want to use is your denominator. Because what's going to happen here is square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. And then this becomes 4 square root of 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2 square root of 2. So we get those two equal answers. I know I said this is a shortcut and we ended up doing a lot of math, but I still consider it a shortcut. Because really what I'm looking for is just that we remember square root of 2 is that key ingredient for 45, 45, 90. You multiply to find the hypotenuse, and you do the opposite. You divide to go back and find the missing sides. 12 and 13 also have shortcuts because they're special triangles. In this case, it's because they are 30, 60, 90 triangles. A 30, 60, 90 triangle also has a shortcut. Now, unlike 45, 45, 90, these are always going to be different sizes. You have a short leg. Now let's just call that short leg x. You have a long leg, and then you have a hypotenuse. The shortcut for 30, 60, 90 is the hypotenuse is always double your short leg. So if your short leg is 10, your hypotenuse is automatically 20. Or if your short leg is 40, your hypotenuse is automatically 80. Additionally, that longer leg is connected to the short leg. We don't multiply by 2 for that long leg. What we multiply by is the square root of 3. So to convert short leg to long leg, we multiply by square root of 3. To convert short leg to hypotenuse, we just multiply by 2. So let's apply this. Let's go back and actually look at number 12. We know our short leg is 8. So if we double that, we automatically get our hypotenuse. Our hypotenuse is 16. It's twice. And then if we use this rule for long leg, our long leg is 8 times square root of 3. And that's all we have to do. 8 times square root of 3 is a decimal value, so it's perfectly fine just to leave it in this form. It can't really be simplified. It can only be turned into a decimal. Let's do 13. Here we don't know the short leg, we know the hypotenuse. But that's okay. If the hypotenuse is 2 times as big as the short leg, then the short leg has got to be half. So B has got to be 3 divided by 2, which you can write as 1.5, but hey, let's just write it as 3 divided by 2. It's a fraction, and there's nothing wrong with using fractions as our answers. And then now that we know the short leg, we can calculate the long leg. It's really difficult to do long leg and hypotenuse. Really, it's short leg calculates hypotenuse, short leg calculates long leg. So now that we know the short leg, we can do that. So our A is our short leg times the square root of 3. And we can put that all together as one fraction, 3 square root of 3 divided by 2. Okay, so that's 11, 12, and 13. Once again, because these are right triangles where we know one side and one angle, we could use SOHCAHTOA. But triangles that have 45-degree angles or right triangles that have 30 and 60-degree angles have some shortcuts that are always going to work. That shortcut for a 45, 45, 90 is to just multiply by square root of 2 to get the hypotenuse, or divide by square root of 2 to work backwards and get the short leg. And the shortcut for 12 and 13, the property for those special triangles, is your short leg and your hypotenuse are always connected. One is twice as much as the other. And then the short leg and the long leg are always connected. You can multiply by square root of 3, and that'll give you your long leg value. All right, the next few questions deal with equations of a circle. So go ahead and check out those videos if you need help. Thank you for listening. Smiley face with a mustache and a tongue sticking out.